right, we are here on the Trent Acid Tribute Radio Show, and on the line with me, I have one of Trent's good friends, Devon Moore. Devon, how are you doing?
Oh, I'm not bad, guys. How are you guys doing?
Pretty good.
Could be doing a lot better, of course. I wish we could be speaking on different terms, but, since we're speaking on Trent, we want this to be, like a tribute and, a fun time, and like a celebration of his life. I just had a couple of questions for you. If it's okay, I'll go ahead and start asking.
Go for it. Fire away.
What is one thing you feel Trent would want his fans to remember him for?
Honestly, his passion for the business. I mean, even at Trent's worst, he was still at shows, and he cared about performing, and I think everybody knows that already. I mean, that was Trent's life, was the business, and I don't think anybody can deny that, and I think it's what everyone should remember, not the demons that he had, but the passion he had for the business. I mean, he taught me so much in the last 7-8 years that I can't even imagine. I mean, since Friday, that's all I've been doing is thinking, and it's just like, wow, like, so much, just, it's crazy. I mean, but honestly, that's probably the best way to answer that, is his passion for the business. I mean, he loved the people, and the people loved him. He was never ignorant to anybody, the boys, anybody. He was always straight up. I think that's what he'd like to be known for.
So would you say that's what stood out most to you about Trent as well?
Oh, always. I mean, he wouldn't hesitate to look out for me or anybody. Like, he always did. I mean, we went to Mexico together, did gatherings for ICP together. I mean, it's just, every time it was always Trent looking out for me or me looking out for Trent. Like, that's just how it was. Like, he wouldn't care who you were. You could be some new kid. He'd stick his neck out for you if he had to. Like, it didn't, you know what I mean? It didn't matter. Didn't matter if you were a vet 20 years or some kid just starting. You know what I mean? He didn't discriminate against nobody. He always tried to help anybody he could. And that was definitely something that definitely stood out, because there's a lot of people that aren't like that. You know what I mean? That have been around as long as Trent had.
Mm-hmm. Is there any personal or professional stories you'd like to share about your time with Trent?
There's so many, I don't even know where to even go, dude. Like, there's so many that have been just popping into my head here and go. Probably one I'd like to share is probably the last time I saw him, which was probably 3 weeks ago, a month ago, after a show in, like, South Jersey somewhere. He just came out of nowhere at the, like, bar at the after party, and I mean, it was just, I haven't seen him in a little while, and it was just like Trent being Trent, just all happy and go lucky. We're singing Sublime together on karaoke, and it was just a good time. I mean, anybody that knew Trent knew how Trent was, and it was just one of those days. It was just a good old, just everybody having a great time, and everybody kept coming up to me and saying that too. They were just like, wow, man, Trent's like real cool. And I'm like, yeah, dude, this is Trent. Like, I don't know what horror stories you've heard, but 90% of them aren't true. This is him. Like, but it's probably one of the stories I can put out now. I mean, there's so many I can't even, my head's so screwed up right now, I can't even, like, really even think of anything else. Like, that's probably the only one that sticks out that I can actually tell fully right now is that. Like, I'd be leaving stuff out on other ones. Like, my head's just still, you know what I mean? It's still not totally sunk into me yet.
Mm-hmm. It's still fresh, and I can understand that.
I mean, it's still a shock. I'm just like, wow. I was supposed to wrestle him a week ago in New York, and, things happened where he couldn't be there, but I can't believe it, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But,
yeah, he passed way too young. Now, if you were to write a book about Trent, what would you call the title?
That's a very good question. I'd probably call it Mark, the story of Trent Acid, because if you were ever around Trent, you knew every 2 seconds it was, yo, that. Doesn't matter who it was, Johnny, anybody, yo. And he'd do it till you said what, and they'd just be like, Mark, and walk away and just laugh. Like, that was Trent. He tried to make everybody laugh. And that would definitely be it. Like, the Trent Acid stories, Mark. The Trent Acid stories. That's not the name I give. That or Lee is the shits, because he used to make fun of poor Ash Samuels forever. Every time Lee came around, all you'd hear is, Lee's the shit, Lee's the shits, and he'd just run around him. I don't know how Lee could stand it. It was great, though. I mean, and anybody could tell you that one. That still goes on in locker rooms. I ever see people that, like, knew Trent, they're just like, yo, cuz, Lee's the shits. Like, one of those two would definitely be it, because those are the two best things that he'd say all the time and just make me laugh all the time.
Now,
no matter what mood you were in.
Now, is there anything that you didn't get to say to Trent that you'd like to say?
No. Last time I saw him, we were pretty... I loved him like a brother, dude. He did so much for me. It was like my big brother. Like, and he knew that. I mean, there was nothing I really haven't said to him, you know what I mean, up front already. Like, besides that, I'm going to miss him every day. I mean, that's just something I just didn't expect. I just always expected, you know what I mean, Trent's Trent. He's always there. Like, it's something that's going to have to sink in soon that hasn't yet. But, I mean, no, not really. We were pretty upfront with each other. We were never really, you know what I mean? It was always, at least from my point of view with him, he was always upfront with me, and I was always upfront with him. So there wasn't really anything that I wouldn't have said to him that, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
That was just a relationship me and him had. I mean, we did a lot of crazy traveling and stuff together. It was just, I mean, we were not together for a couple of years straight, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So there wasn't, you know, I mean, we were always pretty straight up front with each other.
Now, my co-host Missionary has a couple questions, so Missionary, go ahead.
Yeah, hey, Devon Moore. How you doing, sir? I had a quick question. Trent Acid's crowning professional moment or his crowning achievement in his career, in your opinion?
Junior heavyweight championship in Japan, probably. That was something he always talked about. He loved the fact that he retired the title and had the title. Definitely that. That was definitely his crowning moment.
Nice. Getting
to go to Japan on a pretty regular basis when he was 19, like that was probably, he'd say, would be his crowning moment. I mean, that's the one I'd always hear about the most. Like, I never heard him talk more besides about Japan. So definitely when he won the junior heavyweight title from Big Japan, definitely.
Nice.
I would say.
What do you think Trent's biggest goal in life was?
Biggest goal in life was definitely just wrestle. That's what Trent wanted to do. Didn't matter. Trent wanted to wrestle. That was his main goal. Music and wrestling is what Trent loved, and that was all he wanted to do. He slept, ate, and breathed wrestling. Like that was his life. He was so smart with it too. That people don't give him credit for. Like outside of the ring too. Right. Like that's all he wanted to do.
Huh.
He was happy with that.
And who do you think Trent Acid's heroes and inspirations in life might have been? Like people he looked up to?
Oh man, I can't even answer that. There's so many. Like, I mean, somebody that sticks out in the top of my head right now that I know meant a lot to him was the Sandman. And he's another person that probably never get credit for being as smart as he is that he deserves. And I mean, I know like anytime, you know, I mean, if it was, they were like, you know, arguing or something, like Trent always got real down when it came to him. Like, so that was definitely one of them. Like, definitely, I know definitely Sandman. I mean, there's a lot. Like, I can't even think, honestly.
Right.
There's, you know, I mean, there's so many with him. I can't even describe it. I mean, I feel bad. I'm still such a mess, dude.
No,
it's tough.
Yeah, I understand, man. What's the one thing about, I guess I want to say it like this, what's the one thing about Michael you'll miss?
Just his personality. He was so happy. Even in his most, like, down moments. He always tried to, like, you know what I mean, bring laughter and happiness out of it. Like, he never sat around with his head down and tried to be depressed. He always tried to keep his head up and look at things in a brighter perspective.
Yeah.
That's definitely what I remember of Mike. Oh, thank you guys, man.
Thank you very much for coming on. It's been a pleasure having you on.
Thank you guys for having me, man. I really, really appreciate it. And hope the rest of the show goes well, guys.